Hey guys, I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Duke.
And we are the Powerful Rescue. Today we wanted to talk to you guys about what makes a good rescue. This is whether you are looking to foster for a rescue, donate to a rescue, or adopt from a rescue. What are the things to look out for? So the first thing to look out for is transparency and communication. Whether it's a dog that a rescue is looking to pull from a shelter, following the entire journey of that animal, seeing freedom pictures, seeing invoices of where money is going to, and communicating either via social media or text or email to potential adopters and fosters.
And we get it. We constantly are fostering personally 20 to 30 dogs at a time. So it's hard to get updates out every single day on everyone, but we do our best to get 2 to 3 out a day. And darn near every single dog in our rescue is on our story every day. Whether it's us working on leash, it's in the backyard, it's a quick picture, it's something. You want to make sure when a rescue pulls a dog that there is a full story A to Z from the time they rescue them to the time they adopt them.
And even past that, we love to check in with our adopters, and we're on a basically family basis with them. So we get pictures and videos constantly, and we love to update you guys as well.
When it comes to transparency, as far as donating to a rescue, we always tell people to wait until the dog is in our care. It's never happened, thank God, but a lot can happen if you're lining up a transport. We are out in the Dallas area. We have pulled from Palm Valley, San Antonio, places that are 8-9 hours away. So sometimes we have a dog that gets on a transport. We find somebody from the rescue community that is willing to get that dog to us, but a lot can happen. So make sure that dog is in the rescue's care prior to donating. The other big one would be receipts. Every single time we get a dog, the very first thing we do, whether they're medical or not, is we get them to our vet and they have a initial evaluation. So basic medical gets run through. Anything else they need, whether it's big surgery, small surgery, a checkup, we always post receipts. It shows the public exactly what their money is going towards, and it's something that's very easy to provide to everyone.
So transparency and communication is a really big one to look out for. Second thing that we feel makes a good rescue are contracts in place and making sure that the rescue that you are considering working with has insurance. Contracts are what keeps everyone safe in the rescue. You, your foster, your adopter, and your dog, your animal that you are working with. Whether it's a foster that is new and needs a little more structure and guidance, or a veteran foster, there's always new things to learn. Contracts are there to just keep everyone safe. So we are really big on contracts.
Yeah, and we add to it. Yearly things come up, whether it's little things or it's basic things, don't stick your kid in the crate with the dog. Things do come up, and just the more you can give to potential fosters and adopters, the better it is for you as a rescue, and you're setting that dog up for success.
Consider it as a resource.
Yeah.
As far as insurance goes, we have come in contact with a lot of rescues that don't even know that rescue insurance exists. That's a very big one. Don't think that because you are a nonprofit that if something happens, someone will not sue you, because it has happened. Thankfully, not to us, but we've heard of rescues getting sued because unfortunately a dog has bit someone or injured one of the resident pets for whatever reason. And the foster or, potential adopter that's on a trial run now wants compensation for that. That is now going to come out of your pocket unless you have insurance that you are going to pay either a monthly fee or an annual fee. It is very important to cover all of your bases, and that's just another way to keep yourself safe, your fosters, potential adopters safe, and the dog safe.
Right. A lot of these dogs coming out of the shelters, they have notes, but those notes can change. Dogs can do a complete 360 from when they're in the shelter and they feel terrible to coming into their own. And with that, there can be a lot of confidence and a lot of good things, but there could also potentially be some behavioral issues that start to come up. And that's going to dictate, the way you take care of that dog, the placement for that dog, but having insurance is a definite safety net that you will need. Number 3, providing all supplies for your fosters. And this is a really, really big one for us because we absolutely adore our fosters. We cannot continue to do what we do, at least at the volume we do it at, without fosters. So when we pull a dog from a shelter, Initially, we take them in. As a rescue, we want to get them medically cleared and assessed, and we want to temperament test them. We want to find out if they're resource guarders, if they pull on leash, if they're reactive. We want to know as much as we can about this dog prior to placing them into a foster home. So when we do find a foster and we're able to place a dog, we're able to go rescue that next critical dog that really needs us. So as a foster for us, you get crate, bed, bowls, food, toys, treats, medication if there is any. Everything is covered and provided for you as a foster. We are there every step of the way. You have our cell phone numbers and access to us 24 hours a day. Yeah, quite literally. But we are there to help you because ultimately fosters are saving lives. It is a really special thing, and that's what donations are for as a nonprofit rescue.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you have a rescue that's having you buy your own supplies, it kind of raises the question as to where those funds are going.
Obviously, we do things a little bit differently because we have a property and we can bring dogs here, right? But if you're looking to work with a rescue, make sure that they are at least giving you structure and guidelines on how to safely handle your new foster. What we always tell people when we are dropping off a new foster or a dog that's going on a trial run for adoption, pretend as if we said nothing to you about this dog's personality or temperament and treat him as if, or her, as if you just found them as a stray.
Yep.
Take those precautions.
Number 4, take care of all medical.
So as a rescue, you are responsible to provide all medical for that dog until it is adopted.
Yep.
We've had cases where we think that we are getting a dog with just a basic skin infection like Demodex, and turns out that the dog actually had a number of different things. So what was supposed to cost, roughly a $500 vet visit turned out to be an $8,000 surgery. So just because you get notes from a shelter and, from a visual standpoint, the dog looks a certain way, there might be a lot of internal things happening with that animal that you need to be prepared for. And that's not to scare anyone off, but that's just the reality of rescue. We typically pool medical cases.
Right.
So, that's not to say, though, that a perfectly healthy looking dog doesn't have internal things happening, because we've rescued those dogs too.
We did have Mateo, now Rooney, who's been adopted, and out of the shelter, it looked like he had a skin condition. The notes were very basic. Skin condition, he had a slight...
That's what I was thinking about.
He had a slight, limp, and he had loose stool.
Yep. So we thought Demodex, Giardia. All right, some powder will get rid of his Giardia, and medicated baths throughout the week will get rid of his skin condition. And
he was already fixed,
right?
Is what it looked like.
Yeah.
So we thought we were good, and it turns out poor Mateo was cryptorchid. If you don't know what that means,
Google it.
You Google it.
Basically, it's the testicles never drop, and they're in the abdomen, and his were actually wrapped around multiple times, and they were the size of softballs.
Yeah.
So that led to hormonal issues, which led to his hair loss, and
It was a $9,000 bill.
He had perineal hernias, which was causing his loose stool. So it was an expensive surgery with a very long recovery time.
I'll tell you what, though, it left him, for the guys on here, the toughest dog we have ever come across in rescue. Nothing fazed this dude after living with that. Holy smokes.
Yeah, no. 2 days after that major surgery where they cut him from his sternum to his back end, he tried to scale a wall and catch a squirrel.
He felt great. But yeah,
Love you, Rooney.
Yeah, taking care of all medical is a big one.
Yep.
Even if it's something that comes up while your dog is in a foster home or on a trial run, if it's an ear infection, dog isn't having good bowel movement, stuff like that, get your dog to the vet.
Yeah.
And that falls on us as a rescue to make sure when that dog is ready for adoption, you are getting a completely healthy dog, or, at the very minimum, exactly what kind of medical this dog is coming from.
So when trying to figure out if you are going to be working with a good rescue, just make sure that they are taking care of all medical expenses. You don't want to get stuck with any medical expenses as a foster or potential adopter if you haven't adopted the dog already.
And that should be in the contract. Number 5, this one, I know we say everyone is a big one, but this one especially is really, really important. As a rescue, we will always take our dog back. It doesn't matter if it's a month after adoption, 5 years later. 10 years later, no matter what.
The last day this dog's on this earth.
Yep, it is our job as soon as we rescue a dog to take care of that dog for the remainder of their life.
Yep.
You know, no matter what comes up, if an adopter reaches out and for whatever reason they can no longer care for that dog is to come back to us. If for whatever reason that dog is dropped off at a shelter, if it is rehomed, if, you know, we are notified for whatever reason that dog is not in your care, it's a big problem. And in the contract, we will find you and yeah, we will sue you. So yeah, that's a really big one. You know, and it also plays into the kind of dogs you do pull.
Right.
Being out here, you know, on 5 acres, we're in county, we can take in quite a few dogs. So we're very comfortable, you know, taking in all breeds.
Yeah.
You know, Malinois, German Shepherds, dogs that require, you know, a little more than your average breed. And, you know, we put a lot into the requirements and guidelines. You know, for the litter of Malinois puppies we just had, we actually had a mandatory training deposit that had to go towards basic training. You know, you had to be a homeowner, you had to have a 6-foot fence, experience with working breeds, stuff like that, because the last thing we want is for these dogs to come back to us. We want to make sure that they're going to their forever homes, but if for whatever reason something happens, even if it's out of the adopter's control, that dog comes back to us and they live out their days with us.
So don't be afraid to ask this potential rescue that you're considering working with if they take back their dogs. What if a dog bites someone and needs to be returned? What is their protocol? Don't be afraid to ask questions. If you were going to be a part of that rescue's family and network and be representing that rescue, make sure that you have all of your concerns answered. Do not be afraid to ask questions.
Yeah.
You know, occasionally there are dogs that have 24 hours, 36 hours, 72 hours, and it is a panic to pull this dog. It's okay to take a breather and ask questions. That way, you know that you are covered and everyone is safe and that dog is covered.
Yeah.
So ask questions.
Ask questions. Remember, none of this happens without you guys as a community. Yes, we do a lot of the legwork, a lot of the grunt work. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that go into this. But without the community, without the people that are donating towards these dogs, fostering these dogs, networking to get them adopted, this doesn't work. So you are an extremely valuable part of rescue. So
know your worth.
Know your worth. Ask questions. You know, and when you do find a good rescue, stick with them. Follow up on the dogs, and you know, do your thing. So we could go on for quite a while with this one, but those are 5 key points for us. 5 things to look into. You know, when you start looking into nonprofits, whether it's fostering, donating, do your homework, ask questions, know your worth.
Yep.
And it's a good starting point. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. If you have anything else you want to see or want to talk about, comment below. Definitely check out our Instagram and website and the links below. Bye, guys.
Put her up. We can bring dog here, right? But if how the f did I?